What?
Oh, they're here. So they're here.
Oh, not again.
Oh, you need any help?
No, I'm fine.
Hey, man of war, this way.
Hey, what?
Hi, I'm
Here.
I'm Joe Lavario.
And I'm Ed Feldman.
Yes, we are.
The furniture guys.
Yes, we are.
And we're back. And today we're going to be doing a bed.
They were just looking at your back, too.
A beautiful bed.
We are back. We got a beautiful bed here that we're doing. It's probably, what, 20s, you figure?
20s, 30s, because it's, well, we'll talk about that too, but
Yeah.
it's elm.
It's an elm burl, and it's got some water damage on it because
lot.
there was a leak in the roof, and it leaked down and ruined the damage, but not to the point where it's not repairable.
And so we're going to revive it. We're going to do a little repairs on the veneer. So shall we get to it right away?
I'm going to go get the table of supplies.
All right. It's either that or the hooch. And I'm going to step around the front and show you
Now, look.
what I'm so proud of, my knowledge. Oh, boy. Hey, you know what this is? Like most of the furniture made in the last 150 years, it isn't just one kind of style. It's an amalgam. And so you have the curvature of the Art Deco period, along with the architectural reference points of the Renaissance Revival, like those arches back there and that spray. And certainly the spray of flowers is very much Renaissance Revival. So they mixed and matched, and they came up with what we like to call an eclectic or a revivalist style.
It's nice.
I'm done. Go
He's
to
done.
geography. Bell rang.
The bell rang.
Yeah, I know.
We should have a bell in the background.
Yeah, right. Professor Feldman.
Do
He's
it.
done. Everybody else is asleep now.
You have a bell sound, and it say the bell rings, go to geography now.
What's first?
We're going to patch some of this veneer. Now, if you see up here on the top, this very top flat edge, it's got some peeling.
Come on down in
The
here.
veneer is actually, and I have to tell you, at some point you're going to see me wearing either one pair of glasses or the double.
The double. He's going to set the anthill on fire, kids.
But this veneer from the top here has chipped off over the period of years now. I don't have veneer to put on here, but we're going to do another finish that involves, look, plastic wood in the upside down can.
I know, because the emollients, the
this is-
solvents go to the bottom, so they make you buy it upside down.
This is important what I have to say here now, because veneer is very thin, and anything that's water-based is going to lift or destroy the veneer.
Because it'll dissolve the glue.
So here we have plastic wood, which is a water-based. We don't want to use that one.
Okay, but you
We wanna
bought
u-
it anyway.
We want to use this one. I bought it for that, for the demonstration, because if you put a water-based veneer, paste on this to fill this, it's going to raise it. So this, because it's solvent-based, it's acetone-based, it's not going to do that.
And it'll get us high, too.
Well, that's true. So let's open this up, and you'll release the aroma.
We might lose a camera person or
See?
two right
There.
now.
That's plastic wood, which, if you ever seen people fill up the hole for the doorknob
Yes,
to make it flat, and they'll put this in there,
so attractive.
you can chop that whole door apart with a hatchet, and you won't be able to break the plastic wood. You got to use dynamite.
Yet it is not made out of plastic. Because before plastic was a substance, it was an adjective, as in the plasticity of something.
So
Hey,
we're going to get to work on this now. Okay?
we
Well, you can watch and point. Wait, I'll get it. Okay.
There's going to be a lot of that. I liked it better when it fell.
Okay, I'll drop it again. There you go.
No, see, now it's not right. All right, do it. That's good. All right.
Phil, look, what? Wait, important. Just one pair of glasses.
Just one this time.
Okay.
They used to call them 4 eyes, now 8 eyes. Remember, always do your repairs first before you start messing with the finish or the color.
Well, it's something like this, we have to do it now because this is going to have to take time to dry before we can come back and sand the fill. Sand the fill. So, look, you can see in here these little bits that are just like breaking
Yes.
free. See?
When they start to flake off, you got to help them.
So I'm peeling. I've done most of it already, but you can see these little aggravating spots.
And
here.
over here, look.
Wait, move your finger. There, see? So that's good. Now, what I'm going to
Wait a minute, I just wanted to point that.
That's spreading.
Yeah, that's a gap between the outer veneer.
But it's not major.
But you're going to have to fill that too.
Yes, I'm going to fill that. And I'm just going to sand this a little bit. And I'm going to work down this whole side. But let's get some of this plastic wood, which is just really yummy. And we're going to try and get it level, which is the reason for using the putty knife. Oh, that's pretty right
now,
there.
47% of the earth and its accoutrement is now made out of plastic. Hell, 12% of me is made out of plastic. But
I
this,
thought it was only 10%.
we're going to show you all the parts of us that aren't original equipment much later in the show.
That's something to look forward to, folks, I'll tell you.
But this is not technically plastic. This is the verb or the adjective plastic rather than the noun plastic, as in that is a plastic material, or his face seems to have a plastic aura. I have no idea what I just said.
Lawrence Harvey?
Probably.
I don't know.
He was
See,
perfect as Raymond Shaw because he was an automaton in real life.
Manchurian Candidate, folks. I was trying to do this, and I'm listening to you, and I'm saying, where is he going with this?
He doesn't know.
Unlike Almodovar, you know, the great Argentine director.
Yes.
Spanish. Spanish. I mean, when he makes a movie, I midway through it, I say, how the hell is he going to tie all this together? And somehow he manages.
I'm like him, only in a phrase.
You're like him, like on Dope.
My budget is lower. I don't have to pay for the sprocket holes.
Yeah, I'm going to go over this way, see, because this has all been peeled. And
So remember, you're not painting a masterpiece.
there you're not. Get that piece out of there.
Get that out of there.
Now, you may say, and right, you may,
As well you might.
that too. Why don't you just veneer it? Well, the budget.
It's harder. It's
No,
harder
it's-
to veneer.
Well, this is. I'm telling you, you're going to see an incredible transformation.
Right, and besides, this wasn't as gorgeous as veneer on the top as perhaps the front.
No,
is.
it wasn't, because it's the upper side of the.
Right,
top edge.
it was literally originally something called end grain. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think that's got it. I wonder,
Could I use this at all?
No, that's a balm. A balm.
Cocoa butter.
That's a balm. Where'd you find that?
Well, I was in the balcony at the Lakers game, and I tumbled out, and I fell into a bunch of Kardashians.
Oh.
And when I came up, this was in my pocket.
You could laugh out there.
Yeah, we don't mind that.
Wait a minute now. Have I got everything here? Yeah, and I think
They
that's
travel in a pack,
I
like
know.
marmots.
I'm one of the few men alive that couldn't pick her out of a lineup.
Oh, well,
I understand. Yeah.
Yes, you could.
Never mind. This is going to dry, and then we'll come back, and what we're going to do is sand.
And then Keller.
And Keller, yes, sand and Keller. 1904, Hollywood Palace. Okay, more sanding. Wait, open the paper. Look, see, there's two dirty sides. Now, we got one clean side, so fold it up. I'm going to fold it up like this, and then I'm going to start to sand. No, start to sand. Get out of here. Okay, so we've
He said he'd let me do some.
So all that's been sanded. I just want to finish up here, sanding all this and the inside, the inlay in here.
See, already you can see that the inlay was at one point highlighted because it's darker. With lots of different levels to something like this, ordinarily there are some grooves that are darker and others that are lighter just for interest. Again, this is a pilaster. A pilaster or pilaster is pilaster is a decorative
Gomer pilaster. So I'm sorry.
Is a decorative half pillar that or column that doesn't do anything, that just uses its architectural and historical reference point as interest.
I'm just waiting for the period. Okay, get on that side. Let's lift this up. Let's put this over here. Stand it straight up there. Look, now here, these have all been sanded. And I'm just going to go in here. And you'll see the excess come off.
if your sandpaper was any more coarse than this 320, is that what you're using
No, this
now?
is this I'm using. Look, see here.
How much is that?
This is 100. This
100.
is 100 grit.
Because you have to get the grit down to make it more abrasive, and therefore
What you doing, Charlie?
well, he's telling me to move closer. I got a splinter the size of the Angela Dory over here.
What do you need a Band-Aid?
Nah, it's all
Okay,
right.
that's good.
I
Here.
ripped the hell out of my stuff from myself from my art.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's all done now.
They're still here.
Swinging.
Yep.
Like the swing on the star.
Hey, there's the monkey. He makes the same sound when you touch him there.
Right here.
Yeah. This is from when I was a game warden.
Is that true?
I actually taught poachers how to butcher a springbok in the kosher manner.
Don't know what that means.
It's all right. Somebody will.
Somebody
and
will.
I'm playing to that person.
Yes, you are.
There you go.
You know what this is?
What?
It's a piece of sandpaper. Sandpaper.
What number is it?
320 grit, and it's silicon carbide. I'm going to cut it in half.
The bigger the
One
number,
there we go.
the less abrasive it
Hold
is.
up here. Now, this bed has been dusted off.
He
It's been
folds
cleaned.
it thrice.
I folded it thrice.
Well,
See?
actually just twice, but that gives you
So
three surfaces.
the idea is to sand all of the flats. See, and I'm going in kind of a circular motion.
Just like he does with me.
And here we go. And this whole thing is going to get coated.
Now, why does one sand something that's already been bar mitzvahed, like me? Why do you sand something that's already been coated and it's old veneer? Because grit builds up,
because.
but no, it's dirt and airborne dust.
But this-
you're taking that off as well.
This finish is all but gone, but it was originally, a polished finish.
Remember, the smoother you make
Yeah, I got
a
that.
surface, the more shiny it will be when you put on a reflective coating. I learned that from you.
Thank you, Mr. Wizard. So I'm just squeezing this together. See? Now we open this up. Now I got this side's all dirty. So now I go to this side. I'm going to go over there. Let's
I'll
do the
step
pla-
behind
Now
you.
you see how this was all damaged. This is all water damage in here. And you'll see when the new finish goes on. Now the reason I'm doing in cycles, you see,
Yes.
is because this is veneer. And as with regular wood, where you have the
Grain.
lines of the wood and the grain going this way, you can sand this way. But veneer is easily peelable. So we don't want that to happen, even though this is all still good. Even though the water hit it, it's still in good condition.
Right. Now, you've all seen those little circular sanding machines that go around
Oh, the
in a circle.
orbitals?
Yeah, well, this is basically the hand-held motion of that, and you don't have to pay for electricity.
Now let's go fold this up. Go in the center here.
No special materials. Your fingers and hands are going to get in every spot.
You know, sanding is one of those things where you either enjoy it or you hate it. I happen to enjoy it.
I happen to watch it.
And I used to have a whole tape of Sandman Sims
He was good.
dancing.
Yes, with the
Tap dancing. Ted made it for me, our wonderful buddy Ted Garricky, whose music you hear now on these shows. Sandman Sims was a great tap dancer, and he actually made records. We heard his tapping. The music.
Of course, most times when a tap dancer does sand
They look for
dancing,
this.
they'll use salt, table salt. See, a lot of people don't know when I'm kidding and when I'm doing like real things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hold up a finger.
A finger.
This is real. This, not so real.
Move that hand. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit down here.
And I
stretching
want
up.
everybody to trust me when I tell them it's smooth.
Stretching unnaturally as I do, like this. Just gonna,
No stranger to unnatural acts, Joe Larreri.
not me. I've done lots.
He's great. His case comes up Tuesday.
There we go. Now,
Now that's Olson and Johnson, 1904.
19.4.
1904.
Okay, I think I got everything. Now we're gonna sand the footboard.
And that's going to be harder because the plastic wood is now dry.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, why don't you get on that side there? Let's put this right up here.
The interns.
No, get over there. We keep going. Put this over here. Stand this up right here.
Not on the monkey.
Hit the monkey again.
And this would be our route.
The film is about to start. Here are your tickets. Enjoy the show.
Sure is a great opportunity to work in such a grand place like this.
I don't know if you know it or not, but the last finisher we had here painted his entire family red.
You a family man, Amy?
Yes, I am.
You see them often, do you?
No, not often.
Well, actually, you used to be the refinisher here. You painted your entire family red, and then you put them up for sale.
As far as I know, you've always been the finisher here.
Who is it, Eddie? Who is it? That's Joey. He's the little paint salesman that lives in my mouth.
For the best buy for the buck, you want this. This is a painter's quality paint. Comes in flat, satin, eggshell, and high gloss.
Eddie! 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 Eddie, you little bastard! Eddie!
Science class with
Let's talk shellac.
Mr. Fafufnik here.
So, show them the real shellac.
Aha.
These are shellac. Just take a
Years
handful.
ago, we told you how shellac is made.
Right.
We're not going to bore you with that. We're going to bore you with something else today.
Yes, yes, yes. But these are, you know, actually shellac flakes, which you put them in a container and cover them with some denatured alcohol, you get a liquid. Now, most shellac has got a waxy substance in it. And that's why
As
on the
do
cans,
I.
on cans of polyurethane, they will say do not use shellac as an undercoater because of this waxy substance. But we're going to put it on here and we're going to coat this with poly. The reason we're doing it, we're de-waxing the shellac. So just for demonstration purposes, what I did here was I put some shellac in this goblet with some alcohol and it sat overnight. Now there's a white mass in there, you could see that.
Looks
And
like a
there's-
black cow.
And there's a brown mass in there. So I'm going to take this little scoop and just pull out some of that clear liquid and put that, you see how clear that is?
Now, am I correct in assuming that if you left the wax in it, you couldn't coat it with poly because
Well,
then
you-
the undercoat would be didn't have the adhesion qualities
Exactly.
and the poly would slide off of it?
It wouldn't slide off, but it would more easily be damaged and be able to be scraped off because of the adhesion properties. That's why we have to get rid of that wax. So that's what I've done. I made a big batch. I got some here.
That's the chalice from the palace.
This has got the brew that is true. Now here, this is
The
also
shellac that is whack.
this is also interesting. You see, this is orange shellac. This is what they call white shellac, or clear. And
Yet it is really neither.
it's not, but
It's milky.
It's whiter than this, but
me too.
this is what they do. They bleach it. They bleach the shellac, and they get a white shellac. This is in case you don't want that amber color going over.
Right, but
your
most wood has what we like to call a wood tone or a brownish tone, and so amber is usually the way to go.
Thought the ceiling was leaking.
Boy, do I have to go to the bathroom now.
Okay, well, we're going to do a cut and then go to shellac. Okay? Goodbye.
Look at this, I'm doing the bow tie. It looks like Yul Brenner in Deflator Mouse.
Was he ever in that?
Maybe. He could sing, I think.
Okay, that's-
So this is the shellac.
This is the shellac, just
The
to seal it, but
de-waxed shellac.
you could see the pretty color. This is just the raw wood. This has no veneer on it. And I'm going to do some highlighting on this afterwards. But let's put this down here.
On the floor?
Why not?
All
I've been
right.
on the floor many times.
You were on the floor this morning.
Look how pretty this looks when this shellac hits it. And this is,
You know, really, this is not unlike when you put on a pair of tinted sunglasses. You're seeing natural light through a tint, and putting a colored liquid on something that shows up its highlights, the black and the brown, is very similar. I think I explained that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? That's
I'm
about
gonna
right.
cover this.
Don't forget this lower part you'll never see because the
Right.
bed is the mattress is
But I'm
there,
still cleaning
and all
it.
the fun stuff happens down here. But you like that there's something behind there that is sealed.
Yeah.
Because what finish does, other than impart a beautiful color, is, as Joe said, it literally seals it. It makes the pores of the wood impervious to airborne dust and dirt.
Let's see what we got in here.
So later you can wipe it clean or even polish it.
Do you see
and
how
that's
that's
what
all
sealing is.
jumping out like that? It's beautiful, huh?
The smoother the surface, the less rough the surface, the truer the reflection is. That's what makes something shine.
Well, the more the finish is polished as the processes go on, the more tactile smoothness you're going to get, and it's also going to magnify. That's what finishes do. By the time this is finished,
By the time
by
the
it is finished, the grain and all this burl will be magnified, and it will be outstanding.
So, shellac, of course, is dissolved in denatured alcohol. And it is what is known as a solvent release finish.
Correct.
The denatured alcohol dissolves and evaporates
Leaving behind a solid finish.
the solid finish.
In fact, you know, when the cocktail hour came about,
Yep.
that's why they got rid of the shellac finish, because you spill a gin and tonic on a shellac finish, it's going to eat it away.
Right, and that's when they started coming up with poly. Now, of course,
Well, varnish before that, but
well, varnish is as old, almost as old as shellac itself. Varnish is what's known as a reactive finish. It dries when the can is open and the
reacts with the air, yeah.
Right, and the two ingredients start to mix, and that is what hardens it. But this hardens as soon as you put it on.
And it
the-
it dries very quickly because of the solvent which is released into the air, as Ed said, and leaves behind the solid film.
So, if you're not going to put the finish on something that's going to come in contact with spirits, alcoholic beverages, and you know what, beer and wine wouldn't do anything to it, but straight
Slower process, but
Right.
it would over a period of time.
but straight liquor, bad. So, but for any other surface, and if what you want to do is build up a lot of coats in a short amount of time,
Need a coat up here.
shellac is your answer because you can build up a lot because it takes so little time for it to harden.
No, good. Now let's get this. If you can grab
Hey,
this.
you forgot this part.
I did. I'll get it when I come over.
I was going to help him with that, but
I got some more here, and I also forgot. Here, I'll get that right down there. Excuse my talkers.
Can I shellac your tuchus?
Some might prefer. Now this is the area up here. Let's move this out a little bit so I can get back here so Mr. Cameraman could see. See, this is the part that I filled. So I want to go over that.
Now, does the shellac act as a barrier or
It seals.
a sealer on the fill as well?
Most fill is very porous. So the idea of putting the shellac on there is to put a sealer over top of that, so when I paint on it, it's not going to soak in and have more of a dry patch, you know?
I had a dog.
It had a dry patch, a skin disease.
It's horrible. It was kind of like the mange.
Yeah, I'm going to go over all this. All this, because all
Look
this,
how shiny all them little fruits and berries come up.
that's all going to be highlighted.
Now, do you have to put extra on this because this is end grain and it's open?
No, it's not end grain. What's not?
Oh, it's veneer, right.
What's not filled is, yeah. Now I'm going to work across the front here. So if you can hold that on the side, we'll see.
I will.
We'll see what this looks like, 'cause now the thing with shellac is when you're working with it, you see I'm working very fast. Got to work with shellac. It's not a lot of, you can't keep brushing over it like this, you'll wear right through it. Shellac needs to be worked really fast.
Because it starts to dry as soon as you put it on.
Well, yeah, and the more you rub at it, the more you're going to wear away the finish. So it's, but look at the difference there. I'm just going to do this edge and then we'll cut to something else. Because
What should they cut to? Two animals doing it?
I got an X right in the center.
I got the big O right
Ah,
there.
you
I got the big
bastard.
O.
Okay, so we're going to do the highlighting. What we're using here is the Ronin, wonderful company, burnt umber Japan color. What is a Japan color? It's this.
Ah, like chocolate. Now, they were called Japan colors because lacquer
Not
and,
because they came from Japan.
well, Japanning was a way to refer in 100 years and more ago to various colors that had a lot of dryers in them.
And these are used mainly in the movie industry, theater industry, by scenic painters and designers. They go on wet, as you can see here, but they dry flat. You can see this little bit here that's already dried because it was from another take. So it's already dried. That's flat. And when it's dry flat, it kind of, if you put some white with that, it would look like a Necco wafer, the chocolate Necco wafers.
You know,
I
those are
love
the
those.
only kind I eat. I don't eat the fruity ones.
I hate the fruity
No,
ones,
I
the
want
chocolate
all
ones.
chocolate.
So look.
And there's no fat in them.
No.
Just, they're sugar pills is what they are.
Now, in here I got a little bit of paint thinner because I want to water it down a little bit. And this palette is just an old piece from a cabinet that I pulled out of the back because it had a nice heavy varnish on it. So it serves as a good palette and it's light. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to paint in here. You don't want it too watery,
But it is quite opaque, so it's going to cover all that fill.
yeah. And anything that drips over the side here, because it's been sealed with shellac, anything that drips can be wiped right away. So we're going to pull this in here. And this is another secret. You brush like this, you see the bristles are going to go over the side. But if you brush like this, see, then you're not going to have that overflow.
Right, as long as you don't load up your brush. If you do, you're going to spray it all over your crotch.
Exactly. Wonderfully put.
Thank you.
Now let's put a little bit more paint thinner here, and let's come over here to this side and do that and out and down this way.
And since this is a horizontal, this is going to reflect the light that usually comes down from high or from on high, and it's going to look beautiful.
So you could see. Now, we could stop down here and we can go to another part.
Or have you continue watching him painting something brown
Yeah.
for days and days, literally. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, sand my f***ing bed.
My name is Joe and this one is Ed.
We're gonna get it ready for Polly. Then we'll be able to sleep and be so,
Jolly.
yeah.
By golly.
right.
Okay.
Later, we'll write the rest of it.
Okay, we're going to sand. Now, what we've done before we're going to sand is we took a level. This is on the level. Because anytime you're going to apply a wet coating like a poly or a varnish or something, you want to make sure that it's level. So we've leveled this up. It's leveled this way, leveled this way. Same with this here, right? So the next thing to do is put the glasses on, and we're going to sand lightly in the same respect as we did before.
This evens it out. This removes the dust bumps. No matter how clean your shop is, and this one is not, but no matter how clean your shop is, there's always airborne dust that will always get stuck in any finish that you put
Now,
on.
you might find, I don't know if you've seen any, but you might find some little hairs from the brushes. And they'll come right off with the sanding. So
I find them on myself, and I remove them as well.
I know, with Nair. So we're going to finish sanding this, then we'll come back, we'll put the poly on.
We're almost done.
We are, we're just going to poly, and some words about polyurethane. I love polyurethane.
I do not.
Anyway, this is Czar, and it's the classic. It's oil-based, and it's also the gloss. Now, they have semi-gloss, and they have gloss. I like to use the gloss for certain effects, and this bed would have had a gloss finish on it, as opposed to the semi-gloss. You don't stir gloss.
Don't shake, don't stir.
Semi-gloss has got a flattening agent. That's that white stuff. When you stir it, and it's on the bottom of the stick, and it's got to, you got to make it, what are you talking about? Emulsify with the rest of the finish.
But this is good, straight from the can.
So I'm gonna-
like,
I'm going to pour a little bit of this into this container. You never brush out of the can. This is a paint thinner container. I just cut it with a razor, and I'm going to put a little bit in here.
but before we apply it, we have to add an ingredient.
Now we're
or-
going to add an ingredient called the fisheye flowout, which is for silicone infection.
Which might be on this, might not.
You never know.
The only way you know is if you put on poly and you haven't put on this ingredient, then you got a problem.
And what is the problem? The problem is if the piece of furniture is infected with silicone infection, what happens is when you brush the oil-based polyurethane or varnish on, or even lacquer for that matter, what happens is it all starts to pucker. It
Right.
starts to look like craters of the moon.
Little circles like a fisheye.
So what this does is this is actual silicone that when you put it on or drop it into the varnish, what's the matter?
Can I put it in?
Oh, okay, here.
Come on.
But be very careful.
Yeah, I
because
know. I'll be careful.
You only need 4 little drops.
4.
Yeah, 4 drops in here. Gently. 1, 2,
2,
3.
3. I'm going to do one more.
One more. Oh,
that was 5.
You bastard. Anyway, I want to hear large hammering.
A giant explosion.
Now here, because I put the drops in,
5 is fine.
when I put the drops in, I'm going to stir this just a little bit.
After he told you to never stir this.
Well, I'm not stirring. A lot of people, they stir poly too much and they brush too fast. And when you brush too fast, that creates bumps and dust bubbles. So you don't want to get into that. I'm just going to remove this now. Make sure those are tight.
Can I put it away?
You get that end. See, that way we're both doing. Put it up here, and now I'm going to take this. Now I'm going to get the
You
glasses.
let me do it.
And now we're going to put the
When I
poly.
upholster, you're not allowed to do anything.
I don't want to.
I know he hates that. I hate it too, but
Here's the other problem
art.
with poly. People get, when they take the poly onto the brush, they scrape it. You don't do that. That creates bubbles as well. You take the poly and you slap it. And now I'm going to apply it. And here we go. I'm going to go into the groove here because I'm in the groove.
now there's a little bit of technique with brushing this kind of finish, or for that matter, varnish. When we showed you how to put on shellac, that's just a real quick brush.
Shellac is fast. This you got to be a little more careful, and you have to be slow. You can't be sloppy.
Watch how he's doing it. One, and then another, and then a third. So he's evening it
Actually,
out.
I'll show you on the flat here is putting it down and then pulling it up.
The individual bristles of the brush will be making indentations into the liquid that you're brushing on. But poly dries slowly enough so those marks will be eradicated when it flows out and evens
Exactly.
out and becomes nice and even.
That's one of the things I don't like about latex because they dry so fast, there's no time for it to flow out, so you always have some amount of brush strokes.
Now, the shellac dries quickly, but that won't have a brush mark because remember, we thinned that. That's why the spit coat is used, so none of that has a mark. But this one is all about technique.
Now this is important here. When I'm doing the side, notice I'm brushing up this way, not this way. And I'll tell you why.
Because it's better to do it this way
Because
than
I
that
say
way.
so, right. Because you'll, and also there's a problem people have with putting too much on the brush. You know, you got to know what area you're covering, and that will determine how much poly you need to put on the brush. Otherwise,
So when you're doing this,
look, I'm all the way back here now.
well, what do you want me to do?
Nothing.
Come back with you?
I'm just, it's like 3D.
He's foreshortened right now, like, you know, a Caravaggio, except without the violence.
I'm gonna go
Gee, I
here.
knew I was going to say something.
What?
I don't know, I forgot.
Oh,
You
well.
interrupted.
Something else will come into that brain.
That brain?
That brain.
Not that brain. It goes out, things don't come back in.
Oh, do you mean they just disappear?
They just
Like when you called me the other morning and you said, "Oh, I forgot what I was going to tell you."
Yeah, I said I knew I forgot to ask for the toast. You think that wine is aged? Look at us. What a couple of roués, right?
This bed looks nice, though.
Oh, French deco by way of, I think, Hollywood, man.
That's why we got the sunglasses. Not only because the bed was lifeless, now it's got full, bright, sunshiny look.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I helped. You did it, though.
Well, you helped. At that party last night, your friends did all the tabletops. They put up the white rings all over. with the
Animals,
glasses.
every one of them.
Jeez.
Animalitos.
I'm telling you.
The Lombards, the Powells, the Gables, they were all there. And you, in the corner, what were you and Tallulah Bankhead talking
Oh, I asked her a question.
Yeah?
She was very positive. She said, "Until you shall, you old-fashioned boy."
Ah, red hair, and she's from the South.
Then we went to the bar.
And we got one double magnum for me,
And one for me.
and she drained them both.
She drained them both, then she went to the rye. She went to the rye, then the beer. She was the last one at the
She
party.
coughs like a pesh.
Yeah. As Groucho once said, there was a Pullman car named Tallulah.